road.
Hey everybody, your favorite podcast is back, and I know it's your favorite because we can see by the numbers how much you love it. It's, uh, we're just hanging out. It's Friday night. We got to go through some things, and I get to start here before we get rolling, and just want to remind everybody that World War II would have never ended had Chuck Norris not farted both once in Nagasaki, but also in Hiroshima.
I, I am literally heartbroken.
Yes.
He was really an idol of mine. I got a chance to meet him. He was filming a movie in Fort Pierce where they did a shore attack, coming up out of the ocean. And I lived right down the street, and I got a card as an extra.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't supposed to contact him or come in contact with him, but I just couldn't help it. I just admired him,
Yeah.
And so, I ran over there and I said, "I'm sorry to bother you, Mr. Norris, but this is such an honor to be here with you." And he said, "You're one of the extras?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "What do you do for a living?" I said, "I'm a deputy sheriff here in St. Lucie County." And he hugged me.
Wow.
He gave me a hug and he said, "Dude, we appreciate everything you guys do. You're badass." And I almost started crying. Yeah, but it wouldn't be appropriate for a badass to cry, so I was like, "Oh, thank you."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I need to walk away now.
I got sand in my eyes.
You rarely see Donald Trump at a loss for words. When he heard this one, he couldn't talk.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, dude,
He was in a ceremony and they announced it, and he's just like, okay.
Oh, you're frozen.
Yeah, he lost the internet. Well, but I'm not sure exactly what I was going to say because I didn't see whatever John had saw, but about Trump. But isn't it really amazing that in a world so ravaged by political divide that people still were unified in Chuck Norris, and by Chuck Norris I mean jokes. This was absolutely universal. I can find.
Bro, when I was living in Africa, Sean, I swear to God, there were guys over there that were like, literally would go, "Do you know Chuck Norris?"
Right. Well,
Yeah.
right. So, but but politics aside, race aside, sex
Right.
aside, everybody was very familiar with Chuck Norris worldwide, right? And
Yeah.
let me go through this list, and there's the 101 best, but there's better ones out there. But the flu gets a Chuck Norris shot every year. When God said, "Let there be light," Chuck Norris said, "Say please."
Yeah.
Chuck Norris.
They're endless, dude.
Chuck Norris.
I asked Grok to write a eulogy for Chuck Norris.
How'd that turn out?
Oh, it was so freaking. It was epic, Sean. I have to send it to you. It was really, really cool.
Oh my God! I hope it's in your saved conversations because I would love for you to read it today.
Oh yeah, okay,
If
yeah.
it's on your phone, if you go to Grok, you can go to search and then saved,
Right.
and it should be up there at the top. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. But I mean, other than maybe Betty White, uh,
Oh,
like who else is like doesn't matter what their politics are,
yep.
doesn't matter what they do, that are
Yep.
just universally loved and
Yep.
respected in the way that Chuck Norris was.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Betty White, and I think a living one might be Bill fucking Murray because he's just the funny man,
And he's
They don't-
awesome.
and they don't care about his politics. They
Unless
like,
Yeah.
they love his
my ex,
movies.
unless
Yeah.
you're my ex, then you think he isn't funny, and that was the first indication that I really needed to get rid of her.
There was no red flags before this?
Sean, when you're wearing rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill fucking Murray. She had a problem with Bill fucking Murray. Like he's got there's companies that actually have BFM clothing lines
Yeah.
with graphic t-shirts or with ties or with accessories to wear on your jacket or your lapel. It's Bill fucking Murray.
I mean the all-time line.
What's
I remember the all-time.
what's the one JC? The Chive.
Chivery. Yeah, the chive.
Yeah, the Chive they're all Bill Murray centric.
Oh yeah. The all-time line that I remember is when he was with Sigourney Weaver in Ghostbusters, and she's levitating off the bed, and she looks at him. You know, she's obviously possessed. She goes, "I want you inside of me." He says, "Sounds pretty crowded in there."
Oh my God, Becky.
That's awesome.
And only he could deliver the line like that, just with a half grin. Yeah.
Well, and that's so I'm looking at like obviously we lost Betty, we lost Chuck. Yeah, we're losing all of our childhood heroes or young adult heroes. But it's an honest question. Other than BFM, who the fuck is in like current culture that is just universally recognized as cool
Well,
outside of their politics?
I would have said Whoopi, but then she told us she's still having one night stands when she needs one. So I'm probably not going there.
I don't know if young people even know who Whoopi is. Okay.
They obviously haven't descended into the lake of fire, because if they did, they would know who she was, because they'd have to watch it on rewind.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good running joke of what if you were cast into the lake of fire. Obviously, would you have to watch on repeat 24/7? Whoopi? Oh, all right.
In Joyless Behar. Oh yeah.
Well, but would I be forced to watch Whoopi on The View, or would I be forced to watch Whoopi on Star Trek: The Next Generation, which I could totally tolerate?
No, it would be The View if you're in the lake of fire. Because it would have to come with the cackles and the screams
I can't tolerate any of that, boys.
and the sanctimonious pronouncements. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so I got a couple more. There's
All right.
apparently 101 of them that are famous, but maybe we'll come up with our own. Chuck Norris, tears, cure cancer. Too bad he's never cried.
Oh my God.
Chuck Norris once roundhouse kicked someone so fast, his foot broke the speed of light.
Well, if Bruce Lee had lived, that was quite a fight scene, from the famous from years ago. You remember that film?
Oh,
I
the
do.
heel. Oh,
Yes.
I know what you're talking about, JC. The heel turn or heel kick or
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
It's one of the most thrilling fight scenes ever. I said
yeah.
that
It was
both.
fucking. It was lightning fast. It was so wow.
Chuck Norris was born in 1940. By the time he turned 5, he ended the World War.
Well, no, that's when he passed gas, right? Twice. That's what you said.
But like, so this is but my whole point in this is that this is a universal thing that
It really
people
is.
admire Chuck Norris and just tell funny stories about how
Yeah,
impressive this human was, that he
dude,
could
it's
do things
global.
that superheroes could
Yeah,
never do. And again, I ask, I know there was a similar love for Betty White, absolutely. I think BFM will probably fit into that category when he passes, but who universally, uh, like from current culture, will ever achieve that both BFM, Betty White, and
yeah.
Chuck Norris achieved?
Well, given that you can't make an action film without him carrying the day, you would have to say Tom Cruise.
Well,
Maybe so.
and so to your point, Sean, when I was in East Timor, we had a language assistant assigned to my group, right? And an interpreter. Uh, and he famously used to say, I mean, it just cracked him up. He would crack himself up by saying, "Hey, body armor wears Chuck Norris for protection." And then he would just burst out laughing for. And this
Right?
guy was like 4'11", a little Timorese, Asian guy, and it just cracked him up. And all his buddies would go, "Ah!"
Absolutely. I listen.
Sean,
Uh, yeah, go ahead.
there were so many guys who were on the trajectory but never made the grade. Think about how revered Arnold was, and
Sure,
then he started talking,
yeah,
as opposed to beating up bad guys. Once Arnold started talking, his star went from up here in the pantheon, fizzling down.
Well,
yeah,
yeah, and
maybe,
if you
yeah,
start looking at the movie stars, tough guys, right? Sam Elliott comes to mind, and Sam Elliott, which I think is fantastic, is hated by the left, which they really shouldn't. And you brought up Tom Cruise, and no, obviously the left doesn't hate him, so that's a good one. But Marlon Brando, you got Charles
Jason
Bronson,
Statham,
Steve
Charles Bronson,
Steve McQueen,
Steve McQueen, yep.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint
Clint
Eastwood,
Eastwood
absolutely.
is the apex of alpha males.
Well, and then if you get, I had friends that after they graduated college, they were fraternity brothers of mine. They went to Asia for work. Why? Hot women and lots of money. And when they went over there, what they found it was that in Southeast Asia, whether it was China or Taiwan or any of the other countries right around that
Thailand.
region, was that everybody called them John Wayne. They were fascinated by
Yep,
John Wayne.
yep. That was my name when I was in East Timor in Southeast Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody called me John Wayne.
Yep.
Of course, I was pretty big, you know, certainly bigger than the countrymen. And then when
Well,
we all got malaria and I got evacuated back to Australia, even the Aussies special forces guys called me John Wayne. none of which I could take. Those guys are legit badasses. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
no doubt, but that's the
but still,
way
they were like, "Hey, here's my bro, John Wayne. Come
but
here with us,
that's the
MAGA."
way people view America
Yep,
is through up until, I don't know, about 2020, is through American cinema. And
yeah.
John Wayne, to them, was the biggest American badass.
That was it. I was there in 98, 99,
Mhm.
and it was all about John Wayne, and they all wanted to. I swear to God, guys, I never paid for a drink. I never paid for a meal. It was just, even though I wasn't that guy, and I really don't think I projected that persona. I wasn't arrogant. You know what I mean? I
Sure.
wasn't arrogant and swaggering around and stuff. But they were like, "Nah, we got an American here, man. He's John Wayne. That dude's badass." And it was just by reputation, not by action. It wasn't anything I did. It was not like I,
Right, you didn't
defended
you didn't you
my
didn't win a
or
bar
beat
fight
up a
against the
guy that,
guy,
or you know what
right?
I mean? It was nothing like that. It just came about. And luckily, I was smart enough to revel in it and take advantage of it.
Well,
Why wouldn't you?
30, little over 30 years ago, I mean, my son is 36. I ended up at the end of a 16 and a half hour train ride in the Ukraine,
Oh
right in
my
the middle of
God.
what's now been flattened. And if
From
you
Germany?
look at oh yeah, if you look at the aerial view of it, everything it's just basically like it was after Stalingrad. But that's where my kids are from.
Well, didn't
And
didn't didn't you fly originally into Russia and not Germany?
Moscow, yeah, but you couldn't get down there on a plane, and if you did, it would crash. So the guy who was showing me around advised that, the 16 and a half hour train ride was the better way to go. And I said, "So is there a train station in the town where the orphanage is?" He says, "No." He says, the train does go there." He says, "But when the Soviet Union broke up," he said, "the train was in Georgia and they kept it. So there's no train that runs on that track.
Holy
So
shit.
we need to take you we need to take you to Donetsk or some other town, and then somebody will pick you up in like one of those Cuban 57 Chevys with a cracked windshield, okay, and drive us all the way into this little place where there's this statue of this Bolshevik. And I asked who he is. He says his name doesn't matter. He says they were all the same. And I said, "Okay, okay." And I met this guy who was about Paul's age now. He was the guy who arranged the adoption down there. He had these reel-to-reel tapes of Jethro Tull.
Oh my God.
No!
No, no, no.
Locomotive breath.
Yeah, locomotive breath. Yeah, in one of those 4-bedroom apartments in the Ukraine. Yeah, and so
Wow.
we're sitting there and he's telling me stories about when the Nazis came across and how they lined up all the Jews in front of the ditch and gunned them all down, and then him and the kids from the town jumped into the ditch and pulled out the ones that were still breathing. And I'm sitting there ready to weep. I mean, remember, I'm pro Kraut, somewhat, but obviously that's not the attitude to take there. But he says you need to be ready. He says when we go over to the orphanage to get the kids, he says these people have never seen an American. He says the whole place is going to be packed. And he says with that hat you're wearing, they're going to think you're Indiana Jones. And you can't tell me how many times. And Harrison Ford was another name I'd throw out there, but uh, he said none of these people have ever seen an American, so they're all coming. And he says, and yet they watched the TV show Santa Barbara, and they think you look like the guy on that. So I never
Oh
saw
my
that.
God. Robert
I don't know,
Conrad.
but I don't think I've never seen Santa Barbara, so I don't know if I look like him or not.
No, you
I've been
do,
told,
dude. Robert
okay,
Conrad. You look like him a little bit.
fair
Yeah.
enough. I've been told that I look like Philip Seymour Hoffman too, and I always remind people that I'm alive and he's dead. So there you go. But the place was packed for the adoption, and here's the funny part: you had to get all these documents, and everybody needed them stamped and everything. We had 2 copies of them. We had the originals. I figured since both kids were from the same place, that all of our data could just be one, and then we had a copy. And we go in there, and the guy from the government in the cheap suit, he says, "Well, yeah, you have the documents." I said, "Well, yeah." And he says, "Do you have the second set of documents for the other child, your daughter?" And I turned around and I picked up the copies. I said, "Here you go." He says, "Okay." And I knocked the guy on the shoulder as we're walking out. I said, "Weren't they supposed to be original?" He says, "It wasn't his purpose to stop you."
Interesting.
How about that?
So nobody
you
called.
gotta
Nobody.
you gotta have the right forms at the DMV. Actually, you don't if it's not their purpose to stop you and send you back to the United States to get them. Yeah.
I don't disagree, but so he didn't ask if you were John Wayne.
No. No.
No,
He thought I was the guy from Santa Barbara.
he thought you were the guy from Santa Barbara.
Have I
Robert
ever worn my
Conrad.
Indiana Jones? Have I ever worn my Indiana Jones hat on the podcast? I don't
You
think I have.
have. You
Well, yeah,
have.
okay, all right.
Look, I don't know if
I
Hans.
can't top Paul stuff. I'm not.
I,
I still had to buy my own booze.
I don't know if Hans Solo. Nobody has watched, other than maybe me watching it on rerun, has watched Hans Solo in 50 years.
I watched him last night.
1977, 49 years. Yeah, like, so the kids wouldn't know who the fuck Harrison Ford is. They wouldn't know who he is from even Raiders of the Lost Ark. They're not watching that shit. They're watching people
What
on
about
YouTube.
the crystal skull with the aliens? No,
They-
no, no.
They're not watching that shit. They're not. Shit. But apparently the Asians
Like
seem to like that shit because if an American goes over, and I'm told by credible sources via my friends, every time they show up, they're called John Wayne or they're called some
Yep.
American um, movie
Yep.
star.
Yep.
Conrad.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah.
So again, last question. I'll move on, but last question: Who possibly could also fall under that umbrella of just universally recognized and not hated, just loved?
Sigourney Weaver.
Maybe so.
I think
Maybe.
the Alien. So my experience is the Alien movie is really popular in Southeast Asia and the Middle East and North Africa. When I was in Somalia, all those guys knew who Sigourney Weaver was, and they all loved the Alien movie and all that kind of stuff.
I believe it.
And it was funny too. It was funny too, JC, because they thought they don't have a picture of America being 350 million people. Because without exception, they would all go, "Do you know her?" I mean, like we're in a village of 800 people and she's right down us. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I don't know her.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Really good.
She was cute enough to know. I understand Dr. Venkman's attraction until she got possessed.
It's such a great listen. Like, if you were able to show your kids those movies, Ghostbusters, things like that. I know we're laughing at Bill fucking Murray, but like if you were to show them today now versus the garbage movies we have now,
Yeah.
they would look at that. They would go, "All right, it's a little old timey, but holy shit, is it funny?
Yeah.
Super funny."
Yeah.
I agree with you. I will tell you, my ex's daughters do not agree with you, but I think that might have been because they were tainted by the fact that I liked them. I found the Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 to be absolutely riveting.
Oh my God.
Hilarious. Absolutely
When
hilarious.
when what's his name asked what's his name, why are you driving a convertible Porsche? And he's like, because some black guy bought the last convertible Cadillac DeVille.
And he
I
gets
was
out of
just
his Chevy Nova. He says, "Hey, take care of this. This shit happened to this car last time I was here."
Yeah.
yeah.
So good. Eddie Murphy, incredible.
Eddie
Absolutely
Murphy, dude.
incredible. Maybe,
And Angelus.
well, I was gonna say maybe Eddie Murphy. I don't know. Does he have enough fame to make it to that list of the Betty White or the?
Sean, he kind of went like that, like the rest of them. You know, it got old, and unfortunately, he stuck with the same shtick,
Shtick.
and it and
Yeah.
it hurt him.
I agree with that. Yep.
He was versatile enough to do more things, but he didn't pursue it.
So he's no Chuck Norris. All right.
No, no, he's not.
Even though Chuck Norris's shtick was always martial arts.
Oh yeah. Dude, I remember sitting down with my dad and watching Texas Rangers or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could see, Chuck wasn't an actor. You could see his eyes reading the teleprompter. Put your hands behind your back or you're going to be charged with resisting arrest right now. And I'm like, Dad, really? He goes, it's Chuck Norris, shut your pie hole.
Good point. But a lot of people, you said that show specifically, Walker Texas Ranger, is where
Walker, that's what I was thinking of.
where a
Yeah.
lot of younger people would know him from. But obviously, the internet does what the internet does. Once I got home from work, I threw on the internet TV because I don't watch regular TV. I just
Right.
don't. I refuse. I hate it. It's awful. You will all be better off when you just stop watching it.
Unplug
That
it.
being said, I put on something called Pluto Action, internet TV, and it's been Chuck Norris movies all day long. Movies, not Walker, Texas Ranger, the TV show.
No.
And Chuck Norris has done countless amounts of movies, and they're all either terribly awful, so that they're so funny they're great, or
Yeah.
they're actually really good.
Yeah.
There
No,
is
the
another
ones he
name.
did with Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon and, oh my God, dude. And so I have to say those guys were pioneers. They were making film that had never been made before. I mean, Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee actually started a genre.
Yes.
And I can't Makuta Sakuda.
Matata?
No, the real big fuck you. The real big Asian guy. That was
Doesn't ring a bell.
yeah, he was in Bruce Lee movies. He was real big and real
I don't remember. I
kind
remember.
of like he
I
was a
remember
Japanese
I
or
remember
Chinese Terry Crews.
I remember. I don't remember that, but what I will tell you is I remember what came out of that era was Jackie Chan. And then
100%, dude. Yeah.
Jackie Chan teamed up with Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
the comedian, and
Yeah.
that shit was funny.
Yeah. And
Sure.
I tell you right now, no one can duplicate uh the drunken janitor like he does. Just absolutely amazing. Even Bruce Lee said this guy is absolutely amazing
Mhm.
at what he does.
If you're looking for longevity, Jack Nicholson. When Jack when Jack checks out, which won't be long now, he's got a similar career trajectory.
100%, dude.
I think so.
JC, The Departed. Oh my God.
Ah,
He's so, I've read stories about him and DiCaprio doing a whole scene that made it in the movie that was not scripted, right? And they're both such pros that, they were so into it that it made it into the movie. And it was awesome.
The Shining, Nurse Ratchet,
Oh
Cuckoo's
my
Nest,
God, Nurse Ratchet,
uh,
Juicy
Deborah,
Fruit.
Deborah Winger, and Shirley MacLaine with Terms of Endearment. Just
Yep.
on and on. And then As Good as It Gets. Helen
Well,
Hunt.
what this will be totally lost on the kids, and that's okay. But Gene Hackman,
No, no,
Oh
totally.
my
No,
God.
we mentioned
Let
that.
me tell you something. The quintessential Gene Hackman is Clint Eastwood with a double barrel, and he goes click, and Clint Eastwood in The Forgiven.
hmm
And Gene Hackman goes, misfire, get him, boys. And that was the coolest scene ever to be put on celluloid. It really
Gene's a
was.
big deal. Gene's a big deal.
he really is a big deal, and his death is still a mystery. I have
Of
no
course,
idea what
you'll
happened.
never get to the bottom of it.
No, we will never get to the bottom of it. And
I don't give a shit. I
again,
just want to,
88 years old, I believe he
yeah,
was. I the I see these freaking weirdos like Sam Altman saying, we'll be able to freaking put computer chips in you and make you live to 200. And I'm like,
yeah,
what's the point? What's the point?
yeah.
That sounds retarded to me. I'm all in on AI and robots. I'm not all in on living to 200.
Right. Me either.
Not.
Listen, I've already had enough. You know,
If I make it to JC's age, I'll consider myself lucky.
Oh my god, I love Fridays.
Look
Hey,
at
so
that Friday ass,
I
boy.
want to get into something serious before we go back to ripping on each other.
Okay.
So, Jared Isaacman just fucking renegotiated contracts, and he told United Launch Alliance and SLS to go fuck themselves unless they can produce. You don't get to launch to the moon. We're giving it all to SpaceX. And there's been an uproar on the space internet, social medias. You're just giving it to Trump's friend. And I say, no, no, no. They're giving the award instead of doing something
Right.
to spread money out, which is what government typically does in an award system, contracting. They're giving an award on best, and they're awarding the best option to get to the moon.
what they should have been doing all along. Should be merit.
It should be merit, and I want competition in it. They were suppressing the best of the competition. So Jared Isaacman comes out and says, no, 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 no. where they're still in the game. All of them, Blue Origin, Rocket Labs, you name it. You go. There's like
Yeah,
11 of them. They're all still in.
right.
They still have a
But
chance.
Rocket Labs doesn't have the funding.
Mm-mm.
Blue Origin has the technology. They really do. And they've been really good about it, right?
Yes.
But
They have
they're
all
not,
those, and they have all those new
they're,
astronauts.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're not business people. They're all engineers and test scientists and all that kind of stuff. That's a hindrance to Blue Origin. Elon Musk brings the whole package together.
Yes, and Elon Musk wants the competition. He wants them to try to catch up
100%, dude.
so
Yeah.
that fires his employees up to be better.
Well, and it also keeps them from being that pissed off at him because he's always demanding more. And if they see,
Listen, I get what you're saying, but I think if you work for Elon Musk, from my understanding, you have to have the unique ability to work 20 hours a day to finish the thing Elon wants you to finish.
where's he been all my life?
Hold on, but there's no other company that does 20-hour work days. Elon does. And you're going to say, well, that's just cruel. No, stop. You have the option. You could work for Elon.
Yep.
You could build the future, or you could work for a copycat company like Blue Origin. And
Yeah.
I'm not discounting Blue Origin's ability to space.
No,
I'm not.
they definitely have the ability, Sean. Yeah, 100%.
I totally agree, but they're not accelerating
Right.
at Elon company levels because Elon demands drive,
Yeah.
and you have a choice. You can work
Yeah.
for Elon, or you can work for Bezos.
Right.
You're still
Yeah.
going to make $500,000 a year with either company.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Well,
Ask.
I'm sorry, JC. Let me qualify that. The difference between Bezos and Musk on the space research, if you're a test scientist or an engineer with Musk, you get profit sharing. Bezos does not give that. You get $500,000 a year. Thank you so much for your hard work. Elon Musk says, we're going to put your idea into practice. Here's $1.2 billion bonus. That's the main difference.
Or here's some stock. Yeah.
No, stock's helpful.
Always let the stock market pay the high salaries because it will if you produce.
It does every time. All right, can someone tell me? And I still have a subscription to the Tucker Carlson network.
Why?
Can somebody? Yeah, it was an auto renewal. I forgot to cancel, and that's okay. I really liked his interviews in Russia. I liked his interviews with other. I like his interviewing. And it, like all of a sudden, I get it. The internet just breaks it into tiny little pieces and says,
Right.
"Look at this piece of shit! Oh, look at that piece of shit!" Or, "Oh my
Oh,
god,
yeah,
he's
he's
in
kicking Laura Loomis' ass now. Yeah.
And you know what? All of that just makes him more money because it just drives up his clicks. So, but like, do you guys have a read? What's with the supposed Tucker is aligning against Trump thing? Because I don't see it.
Could you say that again?
What's with the supposed Tucker is aligning against Trump
Sean,
thing?
it feels a lot like when Elon started throwing darts at Trump and making some specious allegations because he was pissed. And, Tucker saying, I'm not MAGA. What Tucker's saying is, I don't agree with Iran. That's all. That's it.
Okay.
No more than that.
So it passes in 3 months?
Yeah, he agrees with him on everything else, but he doesn't agree with that. And when it turns out okay, then he'll come back. That's what's going to happen.
I agree
Just
with
a
that.
passing storm.
I agree with that, Sean.
Yeah,
That's it.
I think,
Yeah.
and since we're in that space, I think Candace Owens is nuts. Okay, and I really do, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on her. But what I want to give you guys is a timeline. And listen. I've studied women up close and personal, having to supervise 15 wives for God knows how long. Okay.
Oh, I bet you have.
Oh yeah. And there's a date that comes into focus. 2018. You remember Charlie Kirk, no one even knew his name because it was Candace Owens at Turning Point that was getting the clicks and the attention, where she was shooting down Nadler and the rest of the liberals with her congressional testimony. And she was part of Charlie Kirk's Turning Point, but Candace was the hood ornament, and she created all the attention and everything like that. An articulate, beautiful black woman espousing conservative views. Charlie was smart enough to understand that pardon the phrase, that he could break through the white noise by using her in that way. Now, 2018, all of a sudden, she's off to PragerU with Dennis Prager.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what else happened in 2018? Charlie started dating Erica Kirk. I mean, obviously, there's a new woman. And as we all know, there you can't have more than one. You can't have more than one woman at the top of the heap, right? They're going to job.
I got a
And
call I got to take. I'm going to put y'all on mute for a
Yep.
minute.
Yep.
Sean, I don't think she's ever recovered. And she took the shot once Charlie got killed. She pulled out the long knives for his wife. I mean, it's disgusting. Anyway,
No, I don't disagree, and I think it's weird. I just when I watch all of it, I find it very weird. Whether it's Tucker, I'm not mad at Tucker. I like
no, he's fine.
Tucker. But Candace and Bannon and I kind of have an issue with Bannon. I really do.
Candace is gross. This
Right,
this
but
stuff with accusing her of being in on the assassination and,
it's
and what that's just
it like when you look at Candace Owens, it reminds me of what we're actually live on Twitch right now. What Twitch people do to drive the content, they're following their numbers, is just be the most outrageous person you can, telling something, even though it's not really true, but it could be true, and they don't state it's true. They're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping somebody will run with it because then their numbers just keep rising.
but she just keeps going, and then you've got the theater of the absurd, where Megyn Kelly's fans are calling her out saying you need to say something about Candace. And I'm like, no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. That's not what why the hell does that pertain to her at all?
How many young people watch Megyn Kelly?
None.
How many young people watch Josh Shapiro?
You mean Ben?
Ben Shapiro.
None.
I mean, so to me, when I look at that, and we've talked about this online and offline, do these people even really matter? They don't.
No. But yet,
Does Tucker matter? A little bit.
Yeah, he does. Because he matters because he's innovative and he breaks through. He's more likely to have a guy like Nick Shirley as a guest than any of the rest of them because he's open-minded.
I agree.
Sean,
And I'm
I,
actually
I
surprised
think
that he has. I'm actually surprised he hasn't done that yet. Anyway,
Okay, Paul.
Sean, I think actually we should reach out to Nick Shirley and see if we can get him on our show.
We can try, but what I definitely know
I think he's
is
too big
that
for us already.
everybody has also asked for that.
Yeah, but we're cool as shit. Not
No, I
everybody else
totally
is.
agree. I totally
Yeah.
agree. Wait, who was
I
it?
mean, look at JC. He's like the quintessential, Brendan.
Well, Paul, strange you should bring that up because Sean and I were talking earlier on the telephone, and I'm not telling tales out of school, but I was suggesting that we try to figure out who's enough of an asshole and who is aggressive enough that would assemble an army of Nick Shirleys to go in and bust the shit out of the Democrats in every fraud in every state, and who would have the gonads to organize something like that and be able to sell it to Trump without it having Trump's fingerprints on it, because that's what we need to do. Nick Shirley's need to be everywhere, and they need to have their cameras on, and they need to have their YouTube comments open. And this shit is going on everywhere. It's wholesale fraud, and those clowns like I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Sean, but Mitch McConnell and the rest of those assholes are going to talk
Oh,
about cutting Social Security. You can't cut a dime of assistance for American people as long as you got these people ripping us off blind. Okay.
yeah.
The books need to be squared, and the kids whose future you're stealing need to be the foot soldiers. And we gotta send them in there like Paul's folks in Timor and the rest of that to fucking blow it up. That's what's gotta happen.
Yep.
But we didn't even blow up East Timor. We built wells.
No,
We give them
I'm
water
not
they wouldn't
saying we
use.
blow up East Timor. You know what I mean. I'm just saying expose it. Look at Newsom. Newsom's already bitching about Nick Shirley, and all I said to Nick online was, "Hey, in a nation run by criminals, telling the truth is a crime, brother. Keep it up."
So here's yes. I'm gonna keep focused on what you're saying. Yes, but I also told you today because we were trying to work on some tech issues today that it's all we can do in this podcast is provide knowledge and information. It's going to be on the Nick Shirleys or the other young people, the 20 somethings, to take this from us because if you look at us, if you look at this screen, we don't look any different than CNN or Fox News. And the young
Oh,
people will look at that and go, shut up, boomer.
right, right. Yeah, I know. We got to arm. Listen, the people whose future is being stolen have to be the foot soldiers to reclaim it. We can't reclaim it for them. The ground has been lost.
Yep.
The fact is they've got to get it back, and they have the arms necessary to do it. They've got TikTok accounts, they've got YouTube accounts, they've got cameras, they got microphones. Get in their face and fuck them up. That's what's got to happen. You need to knock on the door of every fake, phony, fraud daycare, hospice, or whatever the hell it is that's getting millions of dollars. It's not too hard to figure out. And what you'll find happening, Paul, is Barry Weiss, Sean's girl, is now sending CBS reporters in after Nick Shirley to confirm what he's talking about. So 60 Minutes could actually
Yeah.
come back and be relevant. Yeah, that's what I want. I'll stand down now.
I would love to see that. Absolutely, I would love to see CBS, NBC, the two news agencies become relevant again. They're not,
It
but
won't
then that
won't
begs
be
we
Fox.
got about 10 minutes, and it's Friday. We're fucking around. Let me ask you both this question: what does the paper of record mean to you? Because I will give you the definition of the paper of record. What does the paper of record mean to you right now, not knowing what I'm going to tell you it is?
Yeah,
Paper of
go
record.
ahead. I'm ready.
Got my answer, so I'm going to be quiet. All right.
Well, so I gotta up your butt.
Now,
By
listen,
the way, this symbol doesn't mean F you. It means up your butthole.
fair enough.
All
But
right. And all
listen,
right.
listen.
Again,
Usually,
we're doing definitions
if
right now.
if I
Well,
use
you
them
up
any
your
time,
butthole. I gotta. You tell me. No. I need to. Please, I need to understand. What do you think? Just use your mind. Like you hear the paper of record. What does that say to you? What do you think it is?
Yeah, data doesn't
right,
lie.
right now, it's something that I would wipe with.
All right, data doesn't lie. Close. Something I would wipe with. I get it.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
what the terminology paper of record actually defines is that the papers, the newspapers, kept historical records forever so you could go look them up. It didn't give them any significance being the paper of record. They were just a historical archive. That's all. So when you hear the New York Times or the Washington Post or the LA Times is the paper of record now, they don't do that. They used
Yeah.
to, and that was why they were called the paper of the record. The record was because they recorded events.
So for
Okay.
the past 10 or 12 years before I retired,
Mm.
where we used to rely on that as evidentiary in our cases, we no longer do that because defense attorneys have become wise, right? And they're easily uh, able to shoot holes in some biased journalist reporting. So whereas
Absolutely.
before, when I started out in the early 80s, it was like, no, they said it, that's true, that's it. And judges would find it admissible. They don't any longer
That's
because,
bullshit.
yeah, that's right, JC. It's bullshit. Yeah.
It's just more left wing pablum. That's all it is. Party line.
Well, and again, the
I mean,
definition
and
of
Sean,
it, they
don't get
changed.
me wrong. Don't get me wrong. We have a need for that, but it's not being filled.
It's the internet. That
I
being
don't know what
said,
you mean, JC.
Well, I mean, someone should do it. I mean, the point is that if you're going to adhere to the scientific method, if you believe that there's truth
Right,
in terms of events that you can record them accurately and statistically measure them,
right.
can't fill it with personal bias and slant it. Go ahead, Sean.
I think that will ultimately turn out to be Grokpedia or the encyclopedia of whatever
Yeah.
the fuck Elon said it's going to be. Whereas you just have a truth where you can go pull the index card out of the Dewey Decimal System, but on the internet, ask
Dewey
a
Decimal.
question and get a non-biased answer.
Yeah.
And I will tell you for sure, I had an argument with Grok the other night when I was doing some research about St. Patrick's Day that I'd done in years past, and I was ready to get together and do a post about St. Patrick's Day. And Grok actually argued with me.
Really?
Yeah. I was totally cool with it in the way it argued with me.
Really? That's cool.
Yes. And
No,
I'm
I like that.
all right. And so I was like, oh, let me phrase it this way, or let me
Yeah.
phrase it that way. And I could not get it to budge. It was
Wow.
this
So Grok wouldn't
is
move off center no matter what your input was.
right.
No matter what your
It
prompts were,
stayed
Grok
at
kept going
center.
back to the middle.
It stayed at center.
Wow, dude.
Absolutely. And this is
That's pretty
420.
Yeah.
Obviously I paid at 420. If you guys pay the $3 a month, you don't have 420 yet, but you will get it. But yeah, and I tried. I literally tried to prove my point to Grok, and Grok's like, "Look, listen, no, you're actually wrong."
Well, actually,
I gotta say,
actually,
that's pretty awesome, dude.
I argue with Grok. And when Grok wants to know why I believe they're wrong or why he's wrong, I'll just say, you yourself have admitted that BBC is one of your primary sources. I said, and I reject that.
You could do that, but I'm telling you, just this
No, I gotta
week,
tell you, what's funny is you're gonna be sitting around Easter table with all your family at Easter dinner, and the subject's gonna come up, and you're gonna be toeing the dirt and looking down at the carpet and stuff, and go, "Yeah, Grok put me in my place."
right? Yes. And that's where we've gotten to that point. So I don't know if Anthropic's there yet. I don't know if Claude is there yet. I don't know if what I'm telling you was my personal experience. Because I've tried Anthropic. I know that's the one that everyone says is going to be the Terminators. Yeah, and
Yeah, whatever.
I even told my mom,
maybe.
listen, if it
Yeah.
is the AI that will be the Terminators, should I not at least learn how to talk to it? So I can say, don't terminate me, terminate that guy.
You can plead for your life. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very simple, right?
Yeah.
It's we're at that point. We're beyond the point of no return.
Hey,
We are.
fellas, I got a hard stop. I got a call with the Philippines. It's
Right
7 in
yeah.
the morning there.
Right, and we'll close it out, but we're beyond the point of no return.
Keep us safe, brother. Let's win this. All right.
Absolutely. Let's close it out.
Yep. Love you guys.